Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a new look at a new map that just so happened to come out on the Farming Simulator Mod Hub. It is called Autumn Oaks. Be a first look at it. As you come in, you spawn in right at the main farm. It looks to be. I did have a look at this earlier, but I wanted to do a new start on it and kind of get an idea of how things are and how things is laid out and all that stuff. But I didn't really do a whole lot of exploring. Just wanted to kind of well, first impressions make a lot of things, and you know they can tell a whole story about how well the map has been put together, how detailed it is, and all that stuff. Not quite sure what this right here is. I'm assuming it's just some sort of some kind of a shed. And it doesn't have nothing as far as in the help menu to get in or out, which I don't really know what it would be for, unless no, maybe not. I was thinking that maybe it could be some sort of a straw sell point, but I suppose it's not. We have quite a few silos. I'm assuming that this is the main field, and we'll hop in the tractor here in a minute and we'll just take a ride around. What's the frame rates looking like on this? They're not terrible. I have found that the more detailed the map is, the more of an impact it comes with frame rates and how much extra work it takes for the map to load in and process and all that good stuff. Let's see what we got in here. Ah, quite nice. So we've got a windrower, New Holland 8340, case combine. I'm not sure if that's I think that's just a cultivator. I don't think it's a plow. Cedar. Does this door open? Oh, it does. Cool, cool, cool. Got a little shop area here. Got another case. It's case 240. Oh, cool. So he's got seed bags and stuff in here, so at least you don't have to go very far to fill up your cedar. Let's hop in this tractor here and we'll take a ride around. Now let's see. This was I guess it's the pig area. I'll hop back out for just a moment. I see that. That trigger right there might be a little bit funny to get to. So this is only one door open. Okay, cool. Never mind. So theoretically, you could use this for storage for bales. These doors open. Guess not. That's all. That's great. That's not a big deal. Let's go on down the hill real quick here and see what we got over here on this side. We got some static cows. It's not, you know, I can't sit here and say that static cows are bad, but I guess it's a preference. I don't care too much for them. Some people like them, some don't. Now, the only thing that I could figure with this being is that if you had to come in here and do some sort of a feeding uh, for whatever animal, but I can't see it making a whole lot of sense for static cows. How does this gate close? Alright. So I guess just the smaller area here would be for pigs, being that's what area we're in. It doesn't give them a whole lot of room, but I guess then again, being that it's not really a huge map. Now, from my understanding, this map is based off of a fictional area in Wisconsin, and if you notice, the some of the fields have kind of got a hilly curvature to them, and they're not all square fields and all that stuff, so they actually have some uh, character to them, which is good. And no, I still haven't taken this aggravating mod out, which I really need to. I've got to remind myself that after I finish this up, I'm going to do it. So we have some other starting equipment over here. It's good that he actually gives you, you know, a good amount of starting equipment, because some maps they don't give you enough and some gives you too much. Some people prefer having more than others because you can sell all that stuff off and, you know, have a little bit of play money to get your own stuff with. Now, if I didn't know any better, and this could just be me, but those soybeans look like they're in rows, and the texture looks a little bit different. That's pretty realistic if I had to say so. And this looks like it's a huge field. How many do you actually own? So you own one. Yeah, that's it. You only own one field. And it looks like 8 is a designated grass field. So this is 13, 14, 14 fields in total. Not bad. How many sell points does this map have? It only has 2. Woodworking shop. Now I wonder what that is. Well, tell you what. We can hop in this here tractor and take a little drive and run into a silo while I'm at it. Now I wonder if these hedges have got collisions on them. They do not. That is actually good. Just noticed something else too. Looks like the chicken area is back here, so you can at least go and be able to collect your eggs. That's cool, man. That actually looks really pretty realistic in comparison to certain maps that only, they've taken just the nav mesh is what actually enables it for your animals to be on the ground so they don't fall through. And typically most maps you see, they've just taken it from another map and just plopped it right in like copy and paste. So at least with that one, it actually has some character to it. Probably should close this gate here. It's pretty good looking texture as far as your pavement right there. Now I didn't quite understand this here as far as what this is. I can only assume that it's maybe possibly alpha. I don't know. Yeah, these textures definitely have been changed. That looks good. That looks real good. How about this looks like corn over here. So I can't tell if he's got these in rows or not. It kind of looks like he does, but I'm not sure. Alright, what direction do we want to go in? Let me get off of this. Let's take a ride into town this way. Actually, hang on a second before we do all that. Let's back up. It's one thing that I can admit is that Mod Hub has been lacking with any kind of any style American map. It's mostly European that you'll find, which in one sense is good, but in another it's kind of bad because you kind of need that flavor of change. So that looks like a manure pit. Cause I don't know. It's either gonna be one of two things. It could be manure or silage, one or the other. I don't know. Here we are physically at the cow area. Again, it looks like static cows. which is okay. Now the other thing too that's kind of a thought is that a lot of maps that I have seen have gotten this cow area on it, and it seems that hardly any, well, I can't think of maybe but one map that has these fans that are automated, and that's the Oregon map that what's his name, Richard Gibbs did. So I take it that there is the actual cow area, your physical cows, animated cows, which is okay. That's not a big deal. I'm just gonna maybe that there is fertilizer. I'm not seeing any lights, which is kind of disappointing because I mean I'm depending on if he's changed the skybox or anything like that, then the nighttime maybe get really dark. And if so, you're only going to have what looks to be just that outside light there. I don't know if there was one on the other side or not. No. So it's just that one there and then the one over here. Now, was that just me, or did it look like that door didn't have no collision on it? It doesn't. Hmm. Okay, well, again, that's not a big problem. At least this building does have some lighting in it. I have an automated door. So theoretically, if you wanted to, if you cared to do the big equipment on a small map, you could probably put a big bud in this. It looks like you got more seed pallets here, which is good. You can't never not have enough seed. And it's always good to have animated doors and triggers that actually works, because some of these maps you get on and start in, you don't have any. It's like the creator forgot to put them in. Now this is actually pretty cool. How they did the silo pipe coming inside the building. But on the same token, I don't know if that's correct. And it looks to be like you could... Oh, cool. So, that meaning that you probably could, if it doesn't have a traditional style bunker to put your silage in, you probably could just dump it right in here and it'll ferment and give it to you on the other side, which some people don't like, some people do. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't bother me. But that's pretty slick there. Now the only thing that I don't know about these silos is that if where the output is it obviously has to hold more than one field type, I can assume. Now we're still getting mediocre frame rates, which isn't a big deal. You know, I'm running this map on a i7 6700 HQ That's it's a locked CPU. It's not an unlocked, and it's running at about 2.6 gigahertz with a turbo of like 3.5 or 6 or 7, something like that. Another, I can't remember exactly what. Graphics card is a 1060. It's an NVIDIA GTX 1060. And I do have the graphics turned up, so that's probably one downfall, along with the higher detailed textures is probably another downfall. So, if you're going to play this map, either you're going to get the frame rates that I'm getting with what I have, or equivalent, or you may get less or more. So obviously that there is the Slurry Pit. Don't need to talk about too much about what goes in that. And we got some, use that storage there for various things, whether it be bales or equipment. Now what is this? Okay, so maybe that's manure. So maybe this is manure and the other one that's just across from me to the left would be for silage. If you wanted to do it the traditional way. I have no idea. I don't know how it's set up. Does this have a collision on it? No. So you could just dump your stuff right in without having to worry about having to get an external auger. What's this sign here? So it looks to be that if the first farm that you were at was actually your main farm that you own, and you, in order to come and get this one, your cattle farm per se, you'd have to buy it. So technically what he's done is he's tied in the field to the farm, which is why this sign is here. So you buy it all in one shot. That's pretty cool. There was another map that had done something similar to that, and I can't remember what it was, or what the name of the map was. So he's got it set up where you've got storage all over the place. Field 7, less than $200,000. Of course, that number may change. I don't know. It depends on how the map is set up. Alright, which way are we going? So we need to go straight down. No, actually, let's not. Let's turn around and go back the other way. Then we'll come back down. Get a sip of water real quick. If I can keep it on the road. Or I'll go ahead and go all the way to the end. See what happens. I'm expecting to be a collision somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you may not go any farther than that. Now, what would have tied in that end down there? He's got it set up so it looks like there's more fields going off the road. But if you had maybe, I don't know, put a blank tunnel or maybe a rose closed sign or some kind of an obstruction other than an invisible collision, that would have perhaps tied it in a little bit nicer. And you know, if the guy who made this map, if he watches it and you know sees what I'm saying, then just know that I'm just giving you some constructive criticism. It ain't nothing bad about it at all. Well, get a little stuttery right here. So what is this? Woodworking shop. Okay. So it looks like you've got boards here, wood chips, and that this area would be what you could make some money from. Didn't say anything on the map about doing any kind of logging, which I imagine you probably could. And don't think I can't sit here and say enough that you know as far as me having a little bit of lag or whatever that it's tied into the map, it's probably not. I've got a ton of mods loaded in, and I really need to go through them again and clean them out. Because the more mods you have, whether you physically got them in the game or not, your system is having to read from that, and it can use a lot of memory, which many people don't know that if you know if you're playing a map, and let's just say that you've got 200 mods and you want to only run 100 of them. Well, if you've still got all 200 in the mods folder but only have 100 selected, the computer and the game engine itself is going to read all 200 even if you're only got 100 in. So it can be bad on the system. So what is this? What does this say? Autumn Oaks Ag. Fertilizer, equipment sales, repairs, seed, grain, haul sales, wool sales, and livestock auction. We buy hay and silage, livestock auction every Monday. That's cool, man. That's pretty legit right there. So you can come here and buy up some animals. Sell your manure. Pick up some fertilizer. All in one little stop and shop. Now, I was just trying to get kind of an aerial view of that. Man, those tanks look great. or bins rather. Now can we get out and I'm getting about 20 frames, 19 frames here. Opening times 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Since 1983. Nice. Alright. I'm seeing that. We were just in this area over here. So all of that there is your Autumn Oaks agricultural area. You have your vehicle shop, fuel, animal sales, and whatnot. So that would be your basically your only one sell point for the whole map, other than the wood area or wood chips, logs. That's the only thing that's bad about it. That I would honestly have to complain about. That is the absolute worst about the map. Is that you only have one sell point in the whole thing. So that's a dead end down there. So we'll go back this way. Alright, so where have we not been? So that's your main farm, second farm, third and fourth farm. So we come back down and go this way. Oh yeah. Got a little bit of a stutter. I probably should have dumped all the mods that I had in the folder out and then did this, but it's no big deal. Take this right. This will be your third farm. Seeds, fuel, silos. Now what is this in here? No, just more of a storage area. And again, we didn't put any lighting in. So if he should decide to want to do a second version of this, he needs to come back through and add some interior lighting to all of the areas and you know, as far as the buildings. Sheep area. So feed and trough, water and trough. One can only assume that the wool pallets spawn inside the building, maybe. Don't have any kind of a sign or anything posted to show where it would be, so I can only assume that's gonna be that. I think that covers this pretty much. If anybody that watched yesterday's video, when they got close to the end and they heard me talking about the dogs barking, I do apologize. Uh, if anybody, if you've ever had or knowing of anybody who's ever had a little weenie dog, you know those weenie dogs like to bark. So this is the fourth farm. More silos. Nicely set up. A little bit of lag. Seeds or fertilizer, one or the other. Big, big, big workshop. There's the seeds. Great. Alright, what's back here? Come on, let me out. There's some more storage. That's cool. Very, very cool. So he's got it laid out pretty good. Pretty good. These function. I guess not. They don't seem to have no trigger on them. Alright, fair enough. So all in all, so far, if I had to rate this map on a 1 through 10, and 1 being the absolute worst, as it stands with only one sell point for your main products, with majority of the buildings not having any lighting, that I would probably have to say that it would be a strong 8. Because if he were to get in, come in here and do like a second version update and put lighting in the buildings and maybe add in a second sell point or 2, he'd be good to go. Now what I was trying to drive around and look for is to try to get an idea of any kind of logging that he may have set up, and I'm not seeing any. Take a quick little ride down here real quick. So we're going that way. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If you add it in, so we got lighting for the buildings, only one sell point, and the invisible triggers not having something a little bit more eye-catching. I mean, other than just going down the road and stopping. That's it. That is absolutely it. The only other thing that I could figure that he's got, and if you notice it just got sunny all of a sudden, It's that camera mod that I've got put in. For some reason, at around 10 a.m. or so, it gets really, really sunny, and like all of a sudden, it don't just fade in. But he doesn't have he doesn't have a whole lot that really needs to be done. I mean, otherwise, it looks really good. And he may feel that he doesn't need to do anything else to it, because getting it on Mod Hub to begin with is kind of a pain. So I can respect that. So I can find me a spot somewhere to take me a great screenshot or so. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe. Maybe add a little bit of character into it. Perfect. Now I just gotta find the right way I want to do this. Alright. Well, I believe that's going to be it as far as this is concerned. Like I said, the map is not very big at all. I mean, you can look at it and tell that it's just a standard size map basically. I wouldn't classify it as a mini map because it's not. Um, Again, if you are interested, it is on the in-game mod hub, and I will post a link down in the description below so you can find it a little bit easier. And it does offer just the standard fruit types, nothing extra. But anyway, that is that, and that's what it's going to be. You guys have a good one. Take care.